Hey guys, welcome to our first video, and if you just give me 5 minutes of your time, I'm going to explain exactly how I built a market-beating algorithm using TrendSpider. As we can see from the results here, our market-beating algorithm managed to outperform the S&P 500 when using it on the SPY ETF. Now, even though it sounds complicated, it's actually pretty easy to build this algorithm using TrendSpider. It's all very intuitive, and we're going to learn exactly how to do it now, so stick around. Alright everybody, so let's go ahead and talk about how we created our market beating strategy. First of all, you can see down here that we have our strategy. What we're going to do here on TrendSpider is hit run. Okay, so it's going to run our strategy on the SPY ETF, and we can see already that look, over the last 1996 candles, it's beat the index, it's beat a buy and hold strategy, so to speak, by quite a margin, right? So instead of 50% return, we got like 79.7%. And we also achieved this with, some better, a better asset versus a better beta versus the asset. You can also see here 67% average wins versus 33% losses. So overall works quite well. We can back test it, even further. So all the way maybe dating back to 2016. And as you can see, we are still beating the market. Okay, and remember this is also happening on the 4-hour chart. Okay, and we can see here on the chart the different entry and exit points. Okay, so for example here we exited because we had a bearish cross on the EMAs. Here we entered long because the MACD started curling up. So as we can see, very easy but also potentially a very powerful tool, and I'm going to show you exactly how I build this. So all you have to do here is go to new strategy. So we're building a new strategy right now. Now there's 3 ways you can add, so you have to add entry conditions, which will make the algorithm buy, or exit conditions, right, which will make the algorithm sell. So we have to add a new condition. We can either add a new condition from a list, so kind of make it ourselves, decide what we want. That's the most boring way of doing it. What I like to do is either load from a template or add a human language condition. So add a human language condition, pretty cool. It's just like talking to ChatGPT. So I could say RSI for one of my entry conditions. I'll go RSI is under 20. Okay, so kind of underbought. So either under 20 or under 30, you can kind of play around with this value if you want. Yeah, change this around to 30 or 20. Okay, that will be our first. On our second entry condition, we're going to load from template this time, and I'm going to do MACD is curling up. Okay, so I quite like this one because it's kind of like looking for a MACD bullish crossover, but it's a little bit more sensitive. So on the 4-hour chart, you're going to get a lot of cross downs, cross ups. So, it's going to be a little bit too sensitive. This is basically looking at the MACD and basically looking at a consistent kind of MACD curling up. So, as soon as you've seen like 4 or 5 days of that MACD signal curling up, it hits, it tells us to buy, kind of basically looking for that momentum. Okay, and for our last condition, we're going to basically use our EMAs. Okay, so very simple, really. Only three different indicators, and here we're going to do 20 EMA cross over 50 EMA. I remember this is all happening on the 4-hour chart. So again, this is actually quite simple. We're only using these three indicators, and on the exit conditions, right, we're going to go ahead and basically add the inverse conditions, right? So we're going to go RSI is overbought, which is over 70, I believe. So that's actually over 70. I usually like to go like 80. And again, the good thing is you can kind of play around with this, look at it with different charts as well. Okay, we're going to add another script, and now we're going to load from template, and we're going to do MACD curling down. Okay, so again, literally just the inverse from our entry conditions. And then another exit condition will be 20 EMA cross down 50 EMA, right? And that is it, guys. So as you can see in just 5 minutes, we kind of build our script. The other thing also important to look at is when you have these conditions, you can choose whether you want all of them to apply or some of them, right? So here, these are all kind of individual, but we could like all put them in the same bucket. There's tons of different stuff you can play around with. when it comes to this. But anyway, let's go ahead and drum roll, run our scanner. And as we can see, once again, we've got a scanner that actually, helps us beat the market. As we can see here, 14% performance versus 8.1 for the asset. If we go back a bit further, this one isn't quite as refined as the other one I have, which has a little bit of variance, but we can see that it's still performing quite a bit better than the market, right? Kind of helping us exit near the tops, and with the always keeping us long. Now this strategy works quite well on Spider and on SPY, because it's a strategy that tends to keep you long whenever possible. So it works quite well. Again, the beauty of the strategies is that you can build them and test them out for tons of different tickers. And that's pretty much it, guys. If you're interested in doing something like this yourselves, I highly recommend you check out our Substack or YouTube, the AI Trend Trade. And of course, go ahead and check out TrendSpider. There's an offer going on right now, so great time for you to sign up. And of course, if you sign up to TrendSpider with our link, you get our strategy. So you don't even have to build your own. You get our strategy sent, all the cool stuff we have going on here. And of course, a big discount to our Substack. So potentially you could be saving hundreds. Anyway, thanks for listening, and I'll see you soon.